Today we shall see triangle family. Triangle is the most important and the first member of the polygon family. This is minimum sides 3. You cannot form a polygon with sides 2. The first member is triangle, with a restriction that sum of the two sides must be larger than the third side. Then only you can form the triangle. You know that there are a number of members of the family. To be precise, there are 6 members of the family. Let us see all the 6 members. As such, you will feel that all of them are similar, but we can classify the triangle in 2 manners. One is by the sides and second category is by angles. Okay. So let us see what are the different names of these triangles. See, we pick up a menu here and let's take the first triangle. Now look at this triangle. I call this as acute angle triangle. Now why we call this as acute angle triangle is you will see that all the 3 angles here, they happen to be less than 90 degrees, and therefore we call this acute angle triangle. We know very well that sum of the 3 is 180 degrees. Okay. So if you have one of these as 90 degrees, the other 2 will definitely be acute angle. But if all 3 are acute angle, then we call this as acute angle triangle. Okay. Now, this does not have any symmetry in general. Then if you look at the sides, you will see that all the 3 sides may be different from each other. Okay. It has 3 vertices, A1, A2, A3. Okay. So this is the acute angle triangle. Now let's take the other triangle, which is again based on the angles. Now here you will see that we have the 3 vertices and 3 angles, and you will note that all the this angle is 90 degrees and some of the other 2 angles will also be 90 degrees. This right angle triangle has one of the angle is 90 degrees, therefore this becomes the altitude, and you can easily find the area of this particular triangle as base multiplied by this height divided by 2. We can see these sides here. See that the area will be 25 multiplied by 20 divided by 2. Now these 3 will always obey a rule that the hypotenuse square is equal to sum of the squares of the other 2. This is known as Bodhayan theorem, or it is also known as Pythagoras theorem. Okay. So this follows this. Now let us see the obtuse angle triangle. If I kick this, you see that I get obtuse angle triangle. I can move this over here and enlarge this. So you will see that one of these angle is larger than 90 degrees. Okay. Let's see these angles here. You see that this is larger than this. Okay. So it's possible for you to have different acute angle triangles, and the range will be say 91 to 179. This particular angle can go from 91 to 179. Other 2 obviously will be the lesser or acute angle. They will be less than 90 degrees. Okay. If you look at the sides, okay, you are seeing the sides, you are seeing the vertices. It does not show any symmetry in general. Okay. And we call this as obtuse angle triangle. One angle is obtuse, other two are the angles which are less than 90 degrees. Okay. Now let's go ahead and look at the classification of the triangle based on the length of the sides. Okay. The first important member is the equilateral triangle. The equilateral triangle you'll see that if you look at the sides, all the three sides are equal to each other. The angles also, all the angles are equal, and because sum is 180 degrees, each of the angle is 60 degrees. Now you'll see that this particular triangle is also known as regular triangle. Any polygon is called regular if all its sides are equal and all its angles are equal, and hence this is a regular polygon. Now it so happens that it shows the symmetry also. That is, if I join the medians, they will be symmetry lines, and therefore obviously you get three symmetry lines for this regular triangle or equilateral triangle. Okay. Now let us see how this thing is there, the isosceles triangle. Okay. If you look at this isosceles triangle, you will see that two of the sides, they have the same dimension. Okay. And you will see if you take the angles, obviously the angles opposite to these equal sides are also equal, right? So two sides are equal, third side is different. This is isosceles triangle. Now if you join this vertex, okay, which divides the other side in the center, if you join this median, you see that that also happens to be a symmetry line. Okay. So isosceles triangle has one symmetry axis. About this, if you fold this triangle, you will see that this will perfectly fit on that. So we see that the equilateral triangle has three symmetry lines, whereas isosceles has one symmetry line. Now the last one of this family, you see, is a scalene triangle. Okay, scalene triangle. Now this particular triangle, see, look at the sides. All the three sides are different from each other. All the three sides are different from each other. Such a triangle is known as scalene triangle. So this is the third category based on the sides. Okay. Obviously you will see that the angles also will be different from each other, but we cannot say whether this is going to be a right angle triangle or acute angle triangle or obtuse angle triangle, because any of these categories can become scalene triangle. Similarly, any of those categories can become the isosceles triangle also. That means you can have two angles equal. You can use this maybe 90 degrees if it is a right angle triangle. That also can be scalene because you can have different sides. Okay. With acute angle triangle also definitely you can have scalene triangle. With obtuse angle triangle also you can have the scalene triangle. Okay. So it's possible for you to have scalene triangle, which is acute angle, which is right angle triangle, and which is obtuse angle triangle. Similarly, it is possible for you to have the category that is acute angle triangle can be isosceles triangle, it can be equilateral triangle, it can be scalene triangle. Similarly, right angle triangle cannot be equilateral, but it can have isosceles, it can be isosceles triangle. Okay, it cannot be scalene triangle. Obtuse angle triangle can obviously be नमस्कार, बोला.
कुठे घरी आहेत का?
आहे घरी, पण थोडा एक चक्कर मारून येणार आहे याच्यात तुमच्या RSS ला.
बर म्हटलं मग
हा, मी या ना तुम्ही. फार फार वेळ नाही लागणार मला तिकडे, 15-20 मिनिटं फार करता.
बरं ठीक आहे.
या या.